Record. Okay. All right. So I guess we're starting group 11 discussion. What qualities make a good leader? What qualities make a poor leader? In discussion, this please consider material from the text and lectures as well as personal experience and mediated or television examples. Okay. So, I kind of started working ahead. In one of the lectures, she talks about Don Draper. So that popped up to me. I hope many of you guys are using that. Are you guys using Don Draper?
No.
Bad Man? Okay. Well, if you've seen the show, I think, some good qualities is he's confident, he's experienced, he's responsive. I mean, you can see it when he walks in a room, everybody's enamored by him. And he's been doing the advertisement business. That's what the show's about, is about a business or people advertising in New York. And, and he's got a lot of experience with it. He's responsive whenever there was crisis. He was in there right away, taking care of it, addressing the problem. He was honest with his employees, with his customers. He was honest. I mean, he kind of lived multiple. I don't know how. I mean, he liked to cheat on his wife quite a bit. I mean, he was the horn dog, that's for sure. And but he was diligent, in his work. He was visionary. He was kind of like the guy in New York in the advertisement. He was working essentially for a small company, and he helped him become well known because he was just really good at his job. Like I said, visionary. He's very charismatic, and I feel he was good. He spotted talent, and this show takes place, I believe, is like the late 50s, 60s, yeah. And he had a receptionist named Peggy, and she caught his attention with a project that he was struggling with. He spotted that talent, and during that time, it wasn't necessarily ideal to have women working in some of these prime positions. Some of the top executives or whatnot, creators in New York, a lot of the receptionists, all the receptionists were all females, and that was essentially the peak of their jobs, kind of from what I saw or they were homemakers. You never really saw any women in any part of any of the businesses they worked with. You never were there women. They were all male, alcoholics, smoked, loved their nightlife. And so he saw Peggy against the grain. He made her a creator, and she being successful. And then she actually elevated into a managerial role later on in the show. But and nobody really questioned Peggy because she had Don's blessings to a certain extent. That's a good sign of a leader. He had
Anthony.
Yeah.
But Peggy did have a hard time. Remember, there was this other guy that I guess he had an affair with her, and
right.
She had a child with him, and so she ended up giving him away to her family or sister or mom. I can't remember.
Right. Yeah.
The whole time, it was difficult for her to keep growing in the company because the men will always put her like she wasn't good enough to continue.
Right. But do you feel that's because of her own insecurities, though? Or was it necessarily the men? Because if you remember, I forgot the two other guys. I forgot the two other names. I think his name was Bernie. He was like one of the first owners. They never questioned it. I know you're talking about Pete. But he was kind of that guy. He was that guy with everybody, was he not? I mean, he was just kind of that. Yeah, he was difficult. He had his own point of view, his own way, and really, how long did it take him before they ever showed him progressing through the company in this show until it got to that point where they were ready to get out of the bad merge that they had and move on. You know what I'm saying? So no, definitely. I mean, I guess no matter what, you're still in the back class. What I'm talking about, like some of the higher executives, like I said, I can't remember the two older guys' names, the ones that initially started the business and then made Don a partner. But they were all on board to get Peggy.
Yeah, the guy that was a little older, he had white hair.
Yes. And like the redheaded girl, he was in love with the redheaded girl who also he had a child with. So, Also, Don, you know,
going to
but
Don Draper, he was a great leader, but I feel not not everyone was able to go talk to him. Some people feared
right.
him, and
I did put down that he was task oriented. He was definitely not interpersonal, but he had a lot of demons that I think would push anybody to seclusion to a certain extent. You know, as far as ever being vocal. I mean, look at what that's kind of what helped tear up his relationship with his first wife. You know, is the fact he was kind of to himself. You know, he didn't let up about any of anything that went on in the past, or you know, he was always shut down. You know, and which led to him being divorced multiple times by the end of the show. You know.
yeah.
By the way, am I quiet? Because you're Maria, it's kind of hard to hear you.
Yeah, you're a little low too.
I hear you guys good.
Yeah, I hear you guys fine.
Well, it's kind of raining here, so my internet may be a little shoddy. I apologize.
That's okay.
Also, I mean, he was a visionary. He was loyal to his customers. Maria, I don't know if you remember, but you know, like when they had the plane company, the little smaller company that they were working for, I think it was Mohawk or something like that. And when they were starting, they were doing good, but they wanted to get more money and be one of the top dogs in New York. So they started going after bigger airlines and were missing. By doing that, they caused a conflict of interest and ended up losing Mohawk, which was a big part of their current business. You know, but he was very adamant that what you want to do is make sure your customers are happy, make sure you're staying loyal to them. You know, and I feel like for most of the seasons, that's kind of the approach that they took until they started getting a little greedy, and that was kind of over Don's head. You know,
Yeah.
As far as that, I think, and like I said, he was. I feel, you know, he was good at helping communicate what the customer wanted to show everyone else an advertisement about their brand. He was also good about making sure the customer knew how their company felt about taking care of their customers. You know, so I feel like he was good on that end too, and I feel those are good qualities to have a leader. I mean, if you're not very nice and you're kind of sheltered, which he could be to most people, but he wasn't. He was charismatic when it came to dealing with the business, when it came down to business. So you need that leader. You know, if you don't have a good leader that's charismatic, that's outgoing, it can backfire and hurt you in the long run. You know, so that's my good qualities. Sorry,
I agree with you. I feel like they would use him, like the older gentleman with the white hair, I forgot his name, would bring him out to, you know, when they have their cocktail hours with their customers, just because he knew how to talk to them. And
right. Oh yeah.
He did the storyboard and explained, you know, the whole commercial or the advertisement. He knew how to say it. He brought you back to when you were younger, and how he just explained everything and you felt touched.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, Coca-Cola, like everything that he did, it was just, he was easy to communicate that to, I guess he transcended whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was easy for him.
Yeah, oh for sure.
They used him for that.
Oh yeah. Real quick, I don't have anything that tells me how long we've been going. Does anybody have a clue?
Nope. I was just thinking, I didn't start a timer. That's okay. I think we're okay.
I started a timer right now, so we're at a minute. I probably went on like a 5-minute soliloquy, so I imagine.
As long as we don't go over 15, because I think she said not over 15.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I don't know the show that you guys were talking about. But
girl, you gotta watch it.
I know. Now I wrote it down. I'm like, gotta watch it.
It is one of those Netflix bingers that you think of.
Okay. But no, when I think about a good leader, I think about the time that I've spent in my role as a leader and how I've evolved, how I lead. So, 8 years ago when I started as a manager, I was more of a teller than maybe asking questions or maybe teaching as I go. So, but one thing that I think does make a really good leader, and I think you touched on this with the show you were talking about, is kind of adapting your leadership style to the people you're leading or the audience maybe that you have. You know, I work with a lot of, you know, I have about 25 partners that work under me, and they're all different personalities. So I have to find ways to adapt my coaching or my praise or any sort of constructive criticism to make sure that they take it well and that they continue to move on and succeed, or they correct whatever action isn't going well. I think that with a poor leader, sometimes people, and we've all had them, or maybe worked for one, or you've worked with somebody who just tells you what to do and that's it, and there's never any sort of communication behind it. So I really think that, you know, I'm redundant because we're taking communication class, but that communication is the key to having people want you to lead them. When they want to follow you, I think that's when you go, okay, that's a good leader. You know, I'm not trying to pull it out of them every single day. They believe in what I'm saying or the company is saying or what we're trying to get accomplished, and they follow.
An inspirational leader.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Right.
Communication is key. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ricardo?
Yeah. I am majoring in business with the global leadership concentration.
Awesome.
So when I started reading this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really good. I went through through the chapters and just trying to dissect which parts I wanted to discuss here. And I currently work for the Habit. I report to the chief administrative officer and controller of the company,
Okay.
and which I think it's pretty cool because I get to learn from somebody who's already there, you know, already at the top of the company. And from chapter one of the things that I thought it was very important for being a leader at that level, or leader in general, is the level of emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And this is for many reasons. Like Anthony was talking about, we need a leader that has to be like charismatic, like to basically have an image for the company. And a lot of time that's what we see. That's like the end of what we see. But what we don't see is like everything else that makes that leader. More of like the daily stuff that they go through. They have to manage a team. Like you said, they have to adapt to every single person. And a lot of time it could be a small team, like 4 people or whatever. My supervisor, he supervises the whole accounting and payroll, so it's 15 accountants.
Mm-hmm.
And so his ability to have to adapt to everything. And on top of that, we are a public company, so he has to report to the SEC. And he has his own responsibilities. The company is growing. He has to hire new people. So it's all this that a leader like him, and like in almost any organization, that has to adapt to and be able to cope. And I think that's very important. Being able to right, yeah, being able to just cope with everything and have a strong, intelligent, you know, being emotionally. For like in the chapter 2, one of the things that I like was looking into were the 3 types of leadership communication.
Mm-hmm.
One that I could relate to the most is the democratic. You know, it's just being able to listen to people and let me see here. Sorry, lost. Yeah, basically just a group setting. You know, being able to working with other people, and again, like on free time, I like to look up just leaders that are out there, and one that I really look up to would be Howard Schultz from Starbucks. I really like what he's done with the you guys work in Starbucks?
I do. I'm a store manager for Starbucks, so I've been with the company for 11 years now. So.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so I really like to read about him. I think what he's done with the company is just remarkable. I mean,
so inspirational when, you know, I used to teach a training class. We don't do it anymore, but he would say, we're in the people business serving coffee. So it's all about people. You know, the coffee is great, but it's the people are what make it. And that's through communication and leadership and two-way communication. You know, I'm constantly, like you said, democratic. I'm constantly involving my team in decisions. It's not just me making the decisions and saying, this is how we're doing it. And luckily for me, Starbucks is a company that allows me to have a little flex in what I do with my team and leadership. So it's great. Yeah.
Nice.
So I'm a big Howard Schultz fan.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think we're on. I'm thinking we probably start at 12:50, so we have like 1 minute.
Okay. Remember,
Or unless we want to do this better and start over again.
No.
I think it's good. I think she's gonna have some. I think we're good.
I mean, I hope you won't get mad if we're like a minute or two over, but we may be pushing a minute or two over.
Okay.
Maria, do you want to say anything, or do you want me to say about that leader, or should we just call it?
Well, I just feel also a great leader should be also humble.
Yes.
You know, I feel Sarah's a great leader, you know, just by what I'm listening to. And she has like the great qualities. You listen to your team and you guys, you don't just make the final decision. You let everyone incorporate, you know, their own thoughts.
Yes.
And I feel that's great. That's important. That makes you a strong team.
Yes, it does.
It only makes you want to work harder for them too.
Yeah.
You know, like this in the book, it's so true. You know, it hits at home. If they're involving you and they're making you a part of the decisions, they're making you feel like you're a part of the team, so therefore you're going to work harder. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, now I think we're about to push over that. So, it was nice meeting you guys. Sorry. Thank you for your patience for starting us over.
Let us know if you're
I'll look over and send it, and then I'll let you guys know how it went.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.
Thank